Hey, good afternoon. Ow. Spiky things. Spiky things are bad. Good afternoon, everybody. So, it's about 4:15 on a Sunday. So, I made a decision that I'm going to walk the way that I'm walking to that big copper pal we found, alright? And I'm probably going to scrap the rest of it out. I think that's the plan. But the main goal is to go further up. With some calculations, it's easy to see that I will run out of areas before I make any decent money. So I think if I stick with the area where I found a nice little treasure trove, maybe I'll find another one. So, and I wanted to walk on up the river anyway. And that and the brush and undergrowth kind of stopped me. So we're not going to let that happen this time. Probably. A lot of that Chinese knotweed stuff is about chest height to me, and I'm 6 foot, so it's about 4 feet, give or take. So it's starting to be. It's getting to that range of being annoying. So I figured if I'm going to do this, I better do it now. There's that goose again. But, so I remembered what I wanted to talk about a couple days ago. A lot less cloudy today. I don't know what was wrong with me the last couple of days. Grandma was probably poisoning me again. I'm not. That's a joke. Maybe not. Not sure. It could be. It might not be. I have no way to confirm that. And I feel a bit clearer today, so I figured it'd be a good idea to talk about this that I want to talk about. So, what refreshed my memory was I hopped on Poke Paradise. I don't play it as much because I've been doing PlayStation 1 games. But like I said, my brain's been in kind of a fog lately. So I've been kind of bouncing through a bunch of stuff like an ADHD patient. And like every 20 minutes I'm playing Minecraft and playing a PS1 game, then watching something on YouTube, then going to get some food. Like, yeah, so I've been a bit all over the place lately. When I was playing, and I got a new batch of Pokemon to a perfect IVs, and I wanted to test them out after I trained them up and got them with the movesets I wanted. I wanted to test them out, so I was like, anybody want to have a for fun battle? I just raised up 5 new Pokemon, and I wanted to do a 6v6 with no legends. And I may have mentioned this before, but there is a number of players that I won't fight. Like, what they do is not fun. They ruin the game for everyone, and I can't even imagine them having fun doing it. So there's just certain players I don't fight. Now, I don't have a problem with them, don't get me wrong, not really. I mean, you play how you want to play, but don't get mad if somebody doesn't want to battle you, you know? But, there's... One of them was like, I was like, alright, I was looking for someone to battle. They wanted to teleport to me, and I was like, dude, I don't want to battle you. I was like, I want to test my guys. I'm not going to get to test my guys if you one-shot my entire team. Like, I'm looking to be able to test my dudes, not have a full-on tournament battle. So, he's like, he or she, I want to say it's a dude, but I have past conversations that make me want to think it's a chick. Rather unimportant, but they're like, you gotta stop picking fights with people that you know you can win against. I'm like, that is exactly what I'm not trying to do. Like, I'm trying to pick somebody to fight me that's like in my weight class, so I can actually test my Pokemon. Not, I don't want to demolish somebody, and I don't want to get demolished because then I'm not really testing my dudes. I'm either, taking on somebody that's way weaker, or taking on somebody that, perfected their team for tournament battles. That's not what I'm going for. So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, because that's definitely not what I was doing. I later clarified, I was like, do any newer players or people that just trained up a bunch of guys want to test their team against my newly trained guys? And the reason I was looking for, well, here's what my team was, right? I think I had a Dragapult, which is rather powerful. Mega Metatite, Metacham, or whatever. Then I had 3 fire starter Pokemon, like Raboot, or Cinderace, Tepig, and another one. Well, that's another one. It wasn't Typhlosion, and it wasn't Blaziken. Torracat, Emboar, Cinderace, and the evolution of Torracat. Whatever that is. I really don't remember. It's Litten, Torracat, and the next one. So it wasn't like I had like a legit strategy or anything. It was just 4 physical attackers, I think, that I was training up at the same time to do the EVs with EXP share. You know, it was logical, not a strategy. So that's why I was looking for quote-unquote weaker players, which depends on how you look at it. I think the correct classification would be normal, typical players, not the Smolgan copy-paste teams, and not the drooling monkeys, like the average player like me that, you know, likes the game and plays the game for what it is, not to ruin it for other people. So anyways, it got me to thinking about the quote I wanted to actually discuss. And the quote I wanted to discuss was, hate the player, not the game. Or, hate the game, not the player. Yeah. Hate the game, not the player. Is that what it was? Or was it hate the player, not the game? I think it's hate the game, not the player, because I was thinking about it. Well, it has to be hate the game, not the player, because if it's the other way around, then my whole story just ruined. So, hate the game, not the player. Or, well, I really feel like it's the other way around now that I'm saying it out loud. Either way, we're gonna say that I'm right, because I have no reference to check it. Hate the game, not the player. Hate the player, not the game. No, okay, forget it. I'm taking it back. I revert. Just stick with the story. I'm reverting the whole quote thing. I was gonna say that you can't really hate the game because the game's great. It's like hating the world. The world didn't really do anything wrong. The world is what it is. The world has rules, just like a game does. You know, you have to breathe oxygen. You have to eat food. You have to drink water. You have to be out of the elements to a certain degree for survival in the world. So you can't really hate the game. But you most certainly can hate the player. Because the game doesn't cheat. Players do. The game doesn't exploit. Players do. You picking up what I'm putting down? Are you hearing what I'm saying? But that was my whole rant, and now I think I messed the whole thing up anyway. So we're gonna switch to something else. Ludens, the dove, the baby dove I have. Clever little bugger, I say. So almost every day, usually the best way for me to describe this is that during the day, like in the morning, I'll give them like a teaspoon of birdseed and water. And then the following night, I don't think I want to mess with that. Like, I think that wire there is probably copper, but it's literally attached to that telephone pole. So I'm not going to mess with that. But it makes you kind of wonder. Makes me kind of wonder, one, that could be a decent amount of money. But if it has electrical current going through it, that's not such a good thing. I mean, it could be a means to an end. But unfortunately, I'm not allowed to do that. If there is a high probability of me not surviving, I'm not allowed to do it. So, anyways. Ludens, the baby dove. So, I'm not sure if they're all the same family, but birds are rather smart. Like, crows and magpies and ravens are all from a specific kind of breed, and they're really good at like puzzle solving. I think they can do like facial recognition even. So they're rather intelligent species in a whole, like in its entirety. So when I'm feeding or giving Ludens water, the doors on the cage slide up like a typical bird cage. And I was sitting there playing, I think I was playing Pixelmon, and I heard him flapping around and freaking out. And I turned around, and I could see him using his beak and sliding up the bars of the door. So he figured out the mechanics of how the door works, which is rather clever, I think, especially because he's so young. So I'm gonna let him see if he can figure it out. But I pinned the door shut while I'm out because I don't want, well, there's several reasons. I don't want him to, like, you know, get loose and poop on everything, and I don't want him to get loose and me accidentally step on him when I get back, not expecting to have to look for him. So I pinned the door shut, but I think whenever I'm there, I think I'm going to leave it unpinned because he can't fly yet. So even if he does get out, I should be able to catch him in the room. So it shouldn't be that big of a deal, unless he goes under or something. But I mean, even then, he got to come out eventually to get food and water, right? Like, logically. So I think I'm going to let him see if he can figure it out. I think that'd be kind of cool. I was contemplating on letting him loose early. I was thinking about taking him up in the woods and just letting him go, see what happens. The reason I don't want to do it in town at this stage is because if I can catch him, a cat can catch him. Like, there's no doubt about it. If I can catch that bird with my bare hands, a cat can definitely catch that bird. So I'm not undoing everything I did just to let it free now. So what was I gonna say? I was gonna let him loose because he keeps flapping around in there, and I'm afraid he's gonna break his wing or something hitting the cage walls. But I think he figured out by now to be a little more careful, because it seems like he's been using less force when he's flapping around. And I was thinking about letting him go because he likes to try to flap around and break out of the cage at like 7 in the morning, and that definitely wakes me up. I was trying to leave him outside so he got fresh air, but the cage doesn't have like a roof. Like, it has like metal bars, so if it rains, you know, everything inside will get wet. So I didn't want to do that. I figured that would just be a stupid decision. So he's in the house on my dresser, and it's okay. Like, I don't mind. But the first couple of days of him waking me up kind of frightened me a bit. So I was like, you know, I'm not used to having, you know, metal bars rattling as my alarm clock. So yeah. I decided against it, at least for today, because, like I said, I don't want him to die. And I think if I took him up to the woods and let him go, he'd have a shot, because, you know, what's not in the woods? You know, a ton of freaking house cats, or street cats. Yeah, they're still predators, still things that can and might eat them, but I think you'd have much better chance at camouflage, much better chance at escape in the woods rather than on the street. But yeah, once again, I decided it's probably not the best idea. Figured I'd wait for a little while. But all right, I gotta climb down this hill at some point. So I'm gonna let you go for now. All right, I made it down in one piece. A lot harder to find the trail. All these here things there's some of them that are as tall as me. So it's was a bit more of a challenge navigating, but it was definitely a lot easier walking down than climbing up it. I'm still a little bit away yet. That's why we're talking, because why not? The water, I was worried the water was going to be higher than this. And as we have had a lot of rain, it's been really kind of hot too the last couple of days. So I like to think that a majority of the water evaporated, but I'm pretty sure I'm wrong, because that's river now, and I think that's where I used to walk. So we're gonna have to go a little up the hill. That's kind of why I didn't want to do this, but one of the people the person I currently associate with gave me a better razor blade knife, so I figured I could strip down a lot of the weight of the stuff that's still down here and take care of that and walk up to the next checkpoint, walk up to the next metaphorical checkpoint, and decide if there's anything worth doing. I kind of think I should have did this earlier. I mean, I can't really complain. I mean, I've covered a lot of ground before this garbage started to get high. But now it's kind of like I'm not going to be able to see anything. And that's a bit of a problem, because I can't really street scrap because there's too much competition here. It's what almost every, person with a pickup truck does. Well, every person that isn't, high class fancy and has a pickup truck does. So it's hard to compete with that. I can't really. I was gonna try to say, like, I was trying to do something like seeing if I could live off the money I get from scrapping. And to be completely honest, even using a backpack, if I had a pickup truck and one of those little pop-up camper things, and I lived conservatively while the prices were high, I think I can make a go of it. If the prices dropped, or if I had a mechanical error with the metaphorical pickup truck that I don't have, then that would pretty much screw me. So yeah, I wouldn't say this would be a good way to make money if you wanted to go on a vacation. This would be a way to make money for some sort of maybe slightly larger upgrade. Like you're just starting out, you have a job, and you're looking to get like a car or something, and you want to get a crappy car. You know, I would recommend this. But to try to live off this, it's highly unlikely. There's just not enough stuff to do it on foot, and to do it with like transportation would be, you know, you got to take into account any maintenance if you can't do it yourself, any parts, all the crap they soak you for, like, you know, insurance and garbage. So, you know, it would be difficult. But see, I know a handful of scrappers that do this basically for a living and make a go of it. But the difference between them and me is they have 20, 30 people bringing them stuff. They have a constant supply coming from all over the place. I do not. We're here, but I do not. So, you know, I with what I have available to me, mostly my youth, vigor, and thirst for exploration, you know, gets me some cash. But I don't have people, you know, bringing me, you know, $300-400 worth of the appliances to rip apart. So, and all these guys that I'm talking about have like cars or pickup trucks. So, they have a much better chance of making it. Plus, I'm sure they have a secondary income that they're relying on too, whether it be like government issued or another job. The one guy I'm talking about, his father, he works for his father at a junkyard. So, he's probably like almost 60 years old. His dad's really old. And he scraps every day of his life. And that's cool and all, but, you know, I'm not afforded those opportunities. And that's something that always bothered me. Because, you know, I'm not afforded the opportunity to leave town. I'm not afforded the opportunity to get a car. I'm not afforded the opportunity to have a decent job. I'm not afforded the opportunity to have a good family. I was never given that option. So, that's one reason why I have a real pessimistic worldview. When I was younger, I didn't worry about it as much because I was making it okay and I had some decent friends. But now that I'm older and I've lost those friends and lost most of my family, and I look at how the world really is, it's just sad and disappointing. And what really makes it sad and disappointing is the fact that it doesn't have to be that way. It's just how society makes it. It's just disgusting. Disgusting is going to be like my new key word for how I describe just about everything. Except my food that I cook. That's always delicious. But alright, I'm going to try to trim this down a bit, and then we're going to move on up that way. I'm not going to worry about walking in the water. I'm wearing my boots, but I need to get upgrades anyway. I think that's going to be the next big purchase. My shoes, the shoelace is broke in my shoes, and now there's holes in the soles. So it's time to get an upgrade. Of course, I will probably more than likely hit the thrift store because I pay for everything myself. So yeah, unless I get them as an early Christmas present, but I'm not asking anybody. If somebody asks me what I want, I think it's gonna be like a premium ankle brace or ankle support bracer thing, or like a really premium pair of hiking shoes. I think that's gonna be my wish list. Or like $10,000, a truck, or a plane ticket to like somewhere $10,000 would last me like a lifetime. Alright, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys when I get to the next area. Alright, so I'm done. This cable here is actually steel, so it's useless to me. And it's real unfortunate because here's what I got. You know, And even if I get the higher grade insulated wire, like all that plastic, one, I could have got it out of the woods, which would have been better for, you know, environment stuff and make me feel better as a person, but I can't lie, I'm kind of glad I don't have to carry 20 pounds of plastic out of here. But the bad part is, if I would have took that in the way it was, I would have got 70 cents a pound. And if I take this in the way it is, I would have got $1.30 a pound. So, for my situation, weight the price is better. But if I would have took that in with all that plastic, I would have made so much more money. Like, it was easily double the weight of the copper. It was just that plastic. So, it's a little bit sad because if I could have got it out here with the insulation, I'd have made more money. But this way, I can traverse this, and I'm only carrying like 10 pounds instead of 30 pounds. So, and that there long cord, seeing that it turned out to be steel, that's kind of sad because that was another big, huge chunk. But at least I'm not leaving empty-handed today. So I'm gonna hike that way for quite a while until I find an easy way up, and then I'll probably take the public trail back. I brought some food and snacks with me, so I'm not in any big rush. So I'll catch you guys once I get through this jungle and I come to an open spot. Alright, I made it to the worst part. The part where it's like climb through the jungle or just walk in the river. Now I picked walk in the river, so made it through that part. Now I'm just kind of wandering around. The area which we were at initially, where we initially got the bulk of the copper, I cleaned up everything I could there too. Like, if there is anything else there, it's probably buried. So I got everything that's surface level there. I think we might be getting close to like 20 pounds. 20 pounds of a combination of copper number 2 and insulated. I picked up a couple of bits that were, how do I want to say it? That might be copper, maybe. And I picked up a couple of bits. So there might be some stuff here now that I'm looking around. I picked up a couple of bits that I really don't think is copper, but it wasn't magnetic, so I just took it. Just for if I get to, it's not a lot, so I figured even if I get to the point on where I'm over encumbered, then I can ditch them. But for right now, I think it's like, I'm guessing it's probably like stainless steel. I want to check that thing if I can. Yeah, it's right in front of me, duh. And I need to find like a dry cleaner for my backpack. It is getting pretty nasty. It kind of bothers me a bit, because this is like a really good backpack. But, you know, I take pride in not being one of those rich kids. So, having my items actually being used and looking used, you know, I take a little bit of pride in that. Oh, look at that. That's all copper. Well, not this thing or this thing. This is iron. And this is like some sort of porcelain or something. Give me a minute. Give me a minute to liberate it from its captors. All right, I done did it. That one, initially I was like, I'm gonna smash it on a rock. After trying that a couple of times and realizing that that stuff's harder than it looks like it is, I decided to be smart and realize that copper is very bendable, and I just bent it off. This was on up the hill. This has copper from here to here. I just cut off the ends because I don't have a wrench to get in there. Or even if I did. Like, I think this piece is aluminum. But even if I had like a wrench or something, these are probably too rusted on. So So that's going to be pretty much a lost cause. I even kind of tried a little bit to nip the end of the wire and try to just pull it through, but it's braided. It's not going to work. Something else that's interesting, I found, I've surveyed the area a little bit off camera, and I found 2 of these. This one you can't see all that well. The other one's above the dirt. I'm pretty sure they're some rudimentary old school lead acid battery. That's what I think. I could be wrong, but I can't break into it, and I highly doubt it's copper. I mean, even if it's lead's like super cheap. Now, I personally like lead because I can melt it easily into things. Like if I want to make fishing sinkers, or just make some sort of cast for something just for fun or a video, lead's a lot easier to work with because you don't need to achieve, temperatures hotter than the sun. So yeah. So where is that other one at? Maybe I passed it. I don't think I did. I'm trying to keep an eye out on both ends here. Because you really never know what you're going to find or where you're going to find it. And now that this stuff's higher, it's that much harder to see. I almost wish I had a couple of partners that cared about the environment and would come down here and get out a whole load of iron. I mean, if 3 people or 4 people had a pickup truck and a winch, we could clear out the whole length of the river, and it would pay for gas and food, and probably even a little bit of spending money. But no one's going to want to do it unless they're getting a couple $100, and that's just not going to happen. I don't know where that battery went to. Just take my word for it. There was at least 2 of them. This video is going to get kind of long, and that train's going to get annoying. I'll be back in a bit. And the train basically stopped pretty much as soon as I stopped recording. So, yeah. It's like a staircase coming down the hill. We might use that to get out of here, maybe. Be a lot easier than trying to crawl up the hill with all this weight. I'm gonna go further though. I came here, I left the house at around 4 because I wanted to make sure, it is Sunday, but I wanted to make sure I'm not gonna run into anybody, and I didn't want to get heavily sunburnt again because I'm already working on a pretty nice tan, and this year has just started. I'm trying, I had sun poisoning probably half a dozen times with construction jobs and fishing, and it's kind of a pain. And like I said before, now even being in the sun can make me feel a little ill. So I try to make my excursions later in the day, because there's no way. What are you? What do you think that might be? It's heavy. For being plastic, it's heavy. It could be full of copper. It could be a lead acid battery of some sort. I don't know. I'm probably not going to take it with me without knowing. But I will take a look at it up here. I wasn't going to even go near it because I figured it was like a plastic steering wheel to a car or something. Apparently, it is not. I got something hold on. It's like a hair or something. It keeps tickling my freaking lip. It's weird. I don't like it. Now, what was I saying? I don't remember. got distracted. We're getting to an area that has recently been worked upon, so I'm not sure if we're gonna find anything else. But I'm not really upset. Like, I'm not ecstatic. I'm not like, wow, this was so great. But I'm not really upset either. I did better than I thought. I think. Did better than I think I thought, I think. Not like, wow, amazing. I would like to mention that it smells fan-freaking-tastic down here. Now, I'm sure my allergies are going to go nuts tonight. And I'm sure that's probably what this is, like the plants and stuff. But it smells really good. Like, if my room smelled like this, well, eventually I'd get used to it, but that would be really great. It's gotta be these flowers, which I think are from autumn olive bushes. But don't quote me. Alright, let's, so here's where they just dumped a bunch of junk. So here's where it's going to get hard for me to get through again. So I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to take a peek at this, see if I can see anything worth seeing. And then I'm going to see where I can get to from here. We'll probably talk again, so I'm not going to end the video because I don't feel like doing that 20,000 times. So, catch you in a bit, probably. Alright, so, I've been following the river for a little bit. And I really kind of thought I would have hit the spot to climb up by now. I decided not to take the stairs. Probably not smart. But, you know. Why? Why do you make me do this? No, seriously. I hit a couple spots that were about a little past my knees. And I've seen a spot or two that looked really deep. But, so far so good. I gotta put my camera in my backpack because I got real close to getting it wet in my pocket. So, figured I'd stop and have a quick little chit-chat. There's something interesting. It's some sort of poo. Now, in my knowledge, that could really only be... Jeez, if I fall in the poo, I'm gonna be very upset. But, in my knowledge, that could only be one of two things. Person or bear. And I really doubt a person would come down here. Uh-oh. Yeah, I better put the camera away before I actually fall in the water. If I fall in the water, there's always a chance that my backpack won't get wet. And that looks like it's kind of deep too. So, I'm going to go up here about 200 more yards. And if I don't find a way up, I'm going to go across because the train tracks are right over there. I don't like going over there because that's where the active train tracks are. And that's where you can, you know, people can cause a problem. But, like I said, it's late on a Sunday. We'll probably be okay. We're going to hope it doesn't get down to that. So yeah, let me put my camera away and I'll catch you guys whenever I figure out this mess. I bet you can't guess what I'm not doing again. That was a nightmare. There was actually parts that I didn't think I was going to make it up out of the hill. And I still had 200 or 300 yards to go before I reached like a little bit easier of an area, I think. But I found an area that looked like doable. So I went ahead and climbed up. Ended up on the other side of this. I had to climb over those. But it's alright. I'm not doing it again. It was That was far too risky. Like, the rocks are too shifty. Even walking along them, I was a little bit nervous. I had one fall that was like half my size. Like, if it would have hit my leg, I probably would have been SOL. So, and I contemplated crossing the river, but when I got to a spot that was shallow, that looked like it was possible, the current was pretty bad and the rocks were slippy, so I decided that will be an absolute last resort. Alright, we made it. I had to walk out a little bit to find out where I was, but I'm about, I'd say about 200 yards. 200 yards from where we enter the public trail. So, I'm gonna eat some oranges and drink a bottle of water. And I'm going to go get a shower. It was fun. I mean, it was fun. I was just, towards the end, I was like, oh crap, you know, what if, I didn't really check. So I was like, what if I had to go all the way, like all the way up to get out of here. Because it would have been over a mile. But turns out that's not the case. I don't think this is copper. No, I'm pretty sure that's aluminum. Yeah. What's inside here might be copper. I might look into that. Because there's a good bit of it here. Alright. It's break time. Later. So that was a little weird. It's about 8 o'clock. I'm actually significantly later than I thought I was going to be. The weird thing was just some guy was chilling up there and came down on a quad. Didn't say a word to me. At first I thought it was going to be somebody that worked here was going to cause trouble. I guess not. He's coming back. Alright, it was all clear. There was some guy I went to school with. He's a few years older than me. We weren't exactly friends, but you know how that is. Time does some interesting things. I mean, actually, I think he was like, now that I think about it, I think he was the first bully that I stood up to. He always rode through my way, you know, calling me names and stuff, and I tackled him through a bicycle. That was interesting. It was actually really funny. I'm actually surprised there wasn't repercussions from that. But it kind of did the job. I mean, like they say, I guess. For the most part, he didn't bother me for quite a while. Now if I see him, now things have changed quite a bit. Now if I see him, I'm not 4 foot tall, 100 pounds, and he's not in the best shape he used to be. But he's coming back, so I'll catch you guys next time. Alright, sorry about that. I got about 15 minutes till I hit the public. Well, maybe 10. So I want to have a proper outro here. Let's have a bit of a recap. So, I walked along the river. I got to the point where I was like, okay, I gotta make a decision because the sun's starting to go down and I need to be like on a path out of here, you know, before it gets like dark. Because if it gets dark, it's gonna be a giant pain to get out of here. So, found a dead frog along the way. Although it might have still been like hibernating or whatever they do in the wintertime. Because it was like in really good condition. But that's besides the point. I hiked and I found like a little like water creek thing. And I was like, okay, so where the water's running down the hill, it's going to have a natural cut path. I should be able to climb that. So I was like, okay, let's do this. And I climbed it, and then I saw all those railroad ties stacked up, and I was like, great, gonna get a giant splinter. And then I tried to climb over them, and then I realized that they weren't all that stable. So that took me a good minute. But when I finally got onto the other side, that's when I talked to you guys. So I seen that pile of wire there, right? It was basically almost all aluminum. And I really didn't take much, because I don't know, like, I don't know what that'd be considered as. Somebody burned it, like, that's for sure. It was burnt copper and aluminum wire. That's 100% certain. I'm not sure why, because, you know, burning aluminum wire is, I mean, that's pretty pointless. I mean, doing anything with aluminum is kind of pointless. It shouldn't have been too difficult to strip it. And the copper was also burnt, but it was all wrapped in that, like, steel and iron stuff, so, like, that's why I barely took anything. I took probably like 3 pounds, maybe a little more. Probably not. No, it's probably about 3 pounds. Honest assessment, I'd say I took about 3 pounds. And that was more because, you know, I wanted to make this journey a little more worth it. So there we go. Other than that, I'm on my way back. I don't know what I'm going to plan to do next. This stuff's getting too high. And, like, I'm not going to take risks like that anymore. Unless I have, like, a majority of the day. Like, I started at 4 o'clock today. And that's kind of one of the setbacks. But I didn't want to be in the sunlight all day. So, I kind of have to balance it out. Either way, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time.